Welcome to Fantasy and Frames Wednesday, and this is Dynasty 365. I am your host, Tyler Heil. Tonight, I am joined by my Fantasy and Frames compatriot, Rich Sickles, and our very special guest from NFL Network, Mr. LaQuan Jones. We're going to discuss some risers and fallers post-NFL draft. Let's get it going. All right, welcome in, everyone. Rich, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you since last week. I know you've been pretty busy. How's everything going?
It's going awesome, man. It really is. It's been busy, work life, busy as heck. But no, I'm doing really good.
Good, glad to hear it. And of course, welcome, Laquon. We're very fortunate to have you. So Laquon is a fantasy analyst for NFL Network / NFL Fantasy Football, and you also do some production work for Rotoballer. You can follow him on Twitter / X, whichever you prefer to call it at this point, at Real Deal Fantasy. Make sure to give him a follow. Welcome, Laquon. We're really happy to have you. How's everything going?
Things are going well, man. Thank you for that intro, man, and the intro music, man. I was jamming for a while, man. You could have let it go a little bit longer.
No, it's not long enough.
Get that thing there like 45 seconds. Nah, I'm kidding. But I'm glad to be here, man. I mean, I'm glad to talk ball after a long day of work, man. And we got some interesting topics today. I'm bringing the heat.
Ooh, I can't wait. I love talking about these guys post NFL draft and hyping up their landing spot or doing the opposite of hyping up their landing spot. Yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, so we finally got landing spots and information we can really dig into, and then this is when the fun really starts, and the hot takes also start to come in a couple months.
Right? Oh yeah, the camp reports of someone's out there early or having breakfast with someone is just gonna be off the chain.
Exactly. Or the quad picture, who's going to be the candidate this year, where we're going to see, t-shirt and shorts and muscular quads, and it's like he's a pro athlete. Like, this is what he's supposed to look like. Like the Mike Davis year was insane. The Mike Davis year was insane. That was the most disgusting year ever. I was just like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Please keep forgetting.
Right. Why'd you bring it back? I'm
sorry. I do that sometimes. Just oh my god, no, never bring it up again.
I do miss having guys like Mike Tolbert out there.
Oh my god, man!
280-pound running backs.
Just pure, just solid beast.
Right.
All athlete. So for anyone listening on or watching on YouTube, don't forget to drop your comments or questions into the chat. If you have any trade questions, throw them in. We would love to jump on them. So the first thing we're going to cover is breaking news. I kind of have to use heavy air quotes there. And then we're just going to speculate. So the first actual news is Odell Beckham Jr. signing with the Miami Dolphins. Laquan, are you excited about Odell Beckham Jr. signing with the Miami Dolphins?
I'm excited for real life football. Like, I'll be glad to see him out there to be able to capture a couple balls, and maybe he scores a touchdown here and there. A really cool celebration. But for fantasy, come on now. What are we doing here? Like, don't start the hype trains. I'm not really here for it. I don't look at him as like even a late round dart guy, because honestly, we have yet to see a third wide receiver actually become fantasy relevant in this offense to begin with. They're going to continue on running the ball. They're going to continue on doing what they're doing with Tyreek Hill and Waddle playing the supporting cast. I just don't see Odell Beckham here as a fantasy option for people for week to week. Even in best ball, like, what are we really looking at the most points? Like 10? He scores a touchdown, 3 catches. Cool. You get 13 points. All right, cool, but I just don't see him as a guy that we should be running to the waiver wire or running to draft boards to take him off,
I totally agree. Rich, do you have any different opinions there?
No, I was gonna say basically the same stuff. I'm off the bandwagon. That was my one note that I put down was I'm off the bandwagon. I'm not gonna go chasing
Good
after
for you,
OBJ
man.
again this year. Yeah, yeah.
I'm proud of you. We got to get you a coin or something.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
I was just thinking that. Congratulations. Get you a cake or something, man.
30 days free of rostering Odell Beckham Jr. in Dynasty.
That's
Oh,
right.
man, yeah.
That's right.
So the next one, Laquan, I know you wanted to jump in here on this because it's your favorite team. What do you think about the 49ers potentially trading Debo or Brandon Ayuk? Kind of who would you want to see traded? Where would you want to see him go? And if they are, how does that affect the value of Ricky Pearsall for you?
So first of all, let's start here. The 49ers suck. But I do see them trading Debo where it makes a little bit more sense. I mean, through the years, we kind of seen his production kind of slightly take a dip in areas of like rushing attempts, touches. So it's like he's on the cusp of where he's becoming a guy that you could possibly replace because we got to remember he was taking a lot of bumps and bruises as a running back / wide receiver. So a lot of teams could use a Debo Samuel, but I'm not quite sure if they want to spend the cap hit that he comes with. I mean, it's like over 25 million this year that his cap hit is, and it doesn't really make much sense, to me to like pull the trigger now. It's more so they'll wait after June to where I think they'll save a lot more money and a lot less dead cap. But I really think this is great for Ricky Pearsall. I mean, he's a smooth route runner. I mean, they call him Pretty Ricky for a reason, man. He's amazing, outside, and he's amazing inside. A guy that can play zone versus man. And I think man is where he finds most of success. And we look at Debo Samuel last year. I mean, honestly, if we look just at the Super Bowl game, he had 0 catches versus man coverage. It's completely taken out of that game. So it's like one of those things where you want a guy that can win against man in the most important games possible. And honestly, Kyle Shanahan is left with the image of Debo Samuel being taken out of that game. That's the last notion he has of Debo. So I think it makes a lot of sense for them to move on now from Devo, where you can cash in the max value on him. And you're looking at Ricky Pearsall right now going to early second round. That could be a great value for some people right now. Like I've seen him go as late as 208 and as early as 201. So it's like he's in that pocket where people are starting to believe that Debo is on the move or Ayuk is on the move. I honestly don't think Ayuk is on the move. I think they're still trying to work out that contract. It doesn't make sense. They're not really going to save that much money. Only 14 million if they end up trading them or cutting them, whatever they want to do. I just think honestly the most important thing about all this is just don't make the wrong decision here at the wide receiver. If you trade Ayuk and you think Ricky Pearsall is going to step in for the production Ayuk has been doing the last 2 years, that would be a huge mistake.
I totally agree. I mean, Brandon Ayuk's he's a star.
He's a star now. I mean, he was in that doghouse for a while, and he finally blossomed into a guy that can, he can help out on the pass blocking and when there's run plays. He's not going to give up on routes when he knows their ball's not going this way. But I feel like he's in a good spot right now in Kyle Shanahan.
Absolutely. And just for reference, I am a amateur capologist. So Debo right now, his cap hit is 28.6 million. That's a huge cap hit.
Yikes. No way.
Yeah. And his base salary is 21 million. So essentially what that means is when they trade a player, all of the signing bonuses and the options and the workout bonuses, all that drops off. All that was already paid by the team. So the only thing that would be going with him is a $21 million cap hit and 2 years left on his contract and some void years.
Yikes. That's a lot. That's hard to pin him to a team to be a possible trade target because some of the teams that actually need him, maybe like the Giants, they're low in the cap. They only have like 5 million in cap. So they will have to figure that out as well of like trying to get him over there. I mean, honestly, if Debo was to go to the Giants, that would make the Giants a little bit more exciting. Even with the bad quarterback play, you have Debo there with Malik Neighbors. Why not? I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you, but a team could talk the Niners into taking some of that salary. A team could just take the whole salary and convert it to signing bonus and get that cap hit down to like 8 million or something like that.
A lot of options.
Yeah. And the reason that I say that is my team that I want, see, this hurts me to say. It's bad juju for me as a Browns fan, but the Ravens with Deebo Samuel
Oh,
would
man.
be so much fun.
Wowzers. Yeah, you're not supposed to say that, man.
I know.
You're not supposed to say that, man. That's a good landing spot. That will give your Browns trouble for years, for at least 2 years.
It would hurt my soul.
Yeah.
But yeah, and for all the people that do look at it, his dead cap hit's really high, 43 million. But if they traded him, that only leaves a 6.5 million dead cap hit for this year, 15 million for next year. So it's doable.
Yeah, very doable.
Say all that and throw all these numbers out there to say it can be done. So we shall see.
It should happen after June 1st, basically.
Yes, essentially. Rich, do you want to see Deebo traded, or do you want to see Ayuk traded, or just neither?
No, neither. Honestly, I think that they both, where they're at right now, I think is kind of like Deebo and Shanahan's system is just fun to watch, and I just can't see anybody else really. I mean, I know somebody else could use him the same way and everything like that. I just don't see it being as electric. You know what I mean? So yeah, I personally would want them both just to stay with the 49ers if they can work it out. Yeah.
It hurts for Ricky Pearsall, but it might only be a year, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he might end up staying.
Yeah, Mr. Chris Bettistel, Mr. Fire content only in the building.
Hey, what's up, Chris?
So we're going to go ahead and get into some of these risers and fallers.
Yeah.
I want to hit a few pass catchers first. The first one that's kind of been really intriguing to me, I've seen him going all over second rounds of drafts. Adonai Mitchell, AD Mitchell, that was drafted in the second round by the Colts. Rich, were you surprised by his perceived fall in the draft? And does he fit well with the Colts? And is it going to be a fantasy lucrative situation?
Right. I was pretty surprised, honestly. I didn't see the Colts getting him. Like that was the last thing that I saw happening. But I think they got a steal. I love it for regular fantasy, kind of like what Laquan was talking about earlier with OBJ. I really like it for regular football. But when it comes to fantasy football, I feel like he kind of landed in a crowded backfield. It'll be interesting to see who steps up between him and Downs, who's going to end up being that number 2 wide receiver. I still got my money on Downs. I think Downs is going to be the better receiver between the two of them. So I think that he fits in well for them for football, but not for fantasy. Yeah.
All right. Laquan, do you think Downs is going to step up and kind of take over for what we want Adonai Mitchell to be?
I think more so he fits what the Colts were looking for. I just don't think it would be such a huge fantasy impact where we could depend on him week to week or be a guy that could fill in for an injury or a bye week or like that. I know they picked him because they needed a guy that could stretch the field, and he's pretty good at doing that. Alec Pierce, he's the guy that's been doing it for the last 2 years. We kind of seen him fizzle out. Like he has flashes here and there and making deep catches and stuff like that, but he's just not getting the job done. I mean, they're just not connecting with him on the deep ball. Whoever's at quarterback, if it's Gardner Minshew, if it's Anthony Richardson, even when it was Matt Ryan, it just wasn't connecting. So it's like one of those things where you're looking at AD Mitchell. He's going in the second round of rookie drafts, but you're going to be sitting on him for a while. You're going to have to be really patient for him to actually gain the chemistry with Anthony Richardson, learn the system, adjust to NFL, speed. I mean, there's a lot of things where he needed to get polished up. Like he wasn't one of the most polished wide receivers coming out of this class, but a lot of them needed some work in some areas, but he fits in a spot where he has time to develop to be the wide receiver we think he could be in this offense. I think he'll be a great contributor. I think he'll be one of those guys you'll have on your roster just in case, but I'm not going out in drafts, in rookie drafts, putting him as priority. Because a lot of rookie drafts, honestly, I traded out of that second round just based on the needs that I needed from my roster. A lot of those guys in those second rounds, I wasn't really comfortable with. I'd rather wait to get a Javon Baker. I'd rather wait to get a Malachi Corley, even though his ADP is rising like crazy right now. But I'd rather wait for guys like that. And I really feel as though AD Mitchell, you just need to be patient and just let this guy develop, man.
I
Yeah.
totally agree. It's an exciting fit for real football, like you said, Rich.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
you're building. I always like to compare it to you're building a basketball lineup. You got Josh Downs playing point guard for you in the slot. You got Michael Pittman on the outside being your kind of stretch four and possession receiver, and you got AD Mitchell coming in to play flanker, and he can be your shooting guard and score when you need someone to. So
It could be a huge red zone threat. So yeah, I just hopefully it works out. Camp works out well. Anthony Richardson stays healthy. That's the most important thing of all their developments. Honestly, all those young talents and Josh Downs and AD Mitchell and Alec Pierce. I think Pittman's good regardless, but health is number one for the Colts this season.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The Colts have an all-star backup quarterback, if you know who it is.
I don't actually at the moment.
It's oh dang it, Joe Flacco, right?
It is Joe Flacco.
Pretty Flacco, Jersey's own. Let's go. I forgot about that, man. Oh, so we're good. We're good money here. As long as Flacco's in the building, I feel like everybody around them are going to succeed, especially at the tight end position. So we're good to go there.
Oh, yeah, he's going to sling that thing all over the yard if Anthony Richardson
It's
can't
about
stay
time Joe Flacco just, he just sits on a team and just waits his time and don't have him back in Jersey, man. Have him somewhere kicked up, ready to go, because we obviously saw him come off the couch last year and just throw 300 yards like it was nothing. Like, I was doing this in my sleep.
That was the most fun half a season I've ever had as a Browns fan. So I will always have a soft spot for Joe Flacco.
Big Jersey.
Even if he was the Ravens quarterback for a while, whatever. So the next guy I want to talk about is Troy Franklin from Oregon, who got drafted to the Broncos. Laquan, are you high on Troy Franklin, or did his kind of draft stock falling, did that affect your rankings on him?
So it's weird. So I was a little surprised that he was falling so far. So automatically you're thinking like, oh, I got to drop him in the rank. He's going to land in a very bad situation, a situation where he's not going to be able to develop properly. But he lands in the 1% spot that I thought he was going to land at with his college quarterback. So you cannot knock him for being with the Broncos right now to where you have to sit on his ranking where you have him at. I mean, right now, he's a wide receiver 6 to 7, whatever the case may be. That may change going down the line, but I feel like the connection and chemistry he already has pre-built with Bo Nix, you have to buy into that. He can end up being a very strong second option for. I mean, Cortland Sutton there for now, but I really feel as though Troy Franklin can carve out a role where he could become fantasy relevant, where we're sitting here thinking like it's week 5 and Troy Franklin has about like 6 touchdowns. How is this possible with Bo Nix? I mean, Bo Nix is an experienced college quarterback. He's played a ton of football. Sean Payton's getting the guy that has the football IQ. He doesn't have to worry about a young kid and flashing lights and all this other distractions and stuff like that. He's coming in, he's ready to work. And Sean Payton, I think he made a good pick getting his number 1 wide receiver.
Love it. Love it. Rich, where are you drafting Troy Franklin right now?
Sure, I have him early 2nd round pick right now.
Ooh.
I
a little spicy.
Right.
Hey, believe in your players.
I went back and forth on him a lot. I really did. And then, but like Laquan was saying, like him landing with Bo Nix, like, I don't know. I feel the two of them already got the chemistry figured out. They already know what they're doing. Yep. And I think that he fits in Sean Payton's system really well. I don't know if he'll be the new slant king, but but I do think
that you gotta leave Michael Thomas alone.
He's already dead.
Leave him alone.
I couldn't help it. Yeah, no. I do believe that he'll work really well in Sean Payton's system, and I think he'll stretch the field a lot. So I'm excited to see it.
So it doesn't concern you at all. Like I was just kind of looking back at some of the previous Saints offenses, and when you look at just kind of the profiles that offense uses, is the big bodied wide receiver is typically the number 1 guy, the possession guy. And you look back, you see Michael Thomas in his prime. You see a guy like Marquise Colston, who is basically just a converted tight end, being
Yeah.
clear number one target in the offense. And then you look at the number two target in Sean Payton offenses, and you're going back to Ted Ginn Jr. You're looking at guys like Willie Snead. You're looking at guys like Kenny Stills. I mean, that just.
Oh man, I love that.
Jared Cook had a nice run on him too. I think I remember that.
He did. I mean, I'm still holding out hope for Greg Dulcich.
Oh God, I'm on the fence with that, man. I just need to see it. I just need to see it, man. That's one of those situations where I have a lot of shares with him in best ball, but in redraft leagues, I don't see myself like getting a ton of him. I just kind of need to just pump the brakes because I'm hearing his name too much. Then when you start hearing a player's name too much, you're like, all right, something's wrong. Something's wrong.
The team is artificially hyping him up.
Yeah.
Man, Greg Dulcich was in here at 4:30 in the morning having coffee.
Here before the quarterback. Like, come on, man.
So next one is Xavier Legette. I haven't found anyone that's super high on Xavier Legette. Laquan, are you high on him? How are you feeling?
I'm not too high on him for fantasy. I think he'll be a contributor. He's one of those guys that fits what the Panthers needed. They needed a big body guy that can be utilized multiple ways. And you can use Xavier Legette. I've seen him taking jet sweeps and I've seen him running bubble screens. He's a guy that can stretch the field. And he's just one of those guys that are just going to be huge contributors for the team in real life football. But for fantasy, it's hard to see him get more targets than a Deontay Johnson. Like you have Jonathan Brooks back there. If he's healthy, ready to go, they're going to be running the ball a ton. There's just other options there that are more solid than him. Adam Thielen, old man Thielen is still there and he's still able to run that slot pretty well. I mean, he was a top 15, top 20 fantasy option there. And I don't think that's going to go away. I think he was force fed a lot of targets, but I just don't think those targets are going to disappear. So old man Thielen's there. So you got a lot of moving parts there where I look at Xavier Legette as a guy that you put in that category. You just have to be patient to see how it falls out, see how things develop with him, because we don't even know if they're putting all these pieces to the O-line, if this actually is going to work. I mean, there's still questions here until we see Bryce Young have a solid O-line, giving him time, guys able to separate and get Deontay Johnson the ball, Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, whoever. So it's one of those big question marks that I have over the Panthers. I'm not 100% buying in to all their players, but it's worth a watch. It's worth staying from a distance like, okay, all right, cool. Doing the damn thing. Good for you.
Rich, are you out on Jonathan Mingo?
R.I.P.
That's funny that you'd say that.
Harris Marshall Jr. still there? Hold up. Like,
no.
Depth chart. Jeez.
I'm about to get roasted.
You should see this depth chart. I'm looking at it now. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Amir Smith-Marset, Mike Strachan, Cam Sims, David Moore, Devin Carter, Sam Pinckney, Jalen Coker, Jalen Camp.
2 years ago, you looked at this depth at this team, what it was, like, yo, they're stacked, man. And they got a couple guys there that could develop.
Not so much.
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna get roasted on this a little bit here. I actually kind of prefer Mingo. I'm gonna be honest.
Over Legette?
Yeah.
Over Legette.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I
case.
really loved Mingo coming out. I really did. When he was one of those wide receivers that I was watching last year that I was like, this is my guy. This is he was able to he didn't do anything really great, really expertly, but he did a lot of things really, really good. And that's what I really liked about him. I thought he was a very well-rounded prospect, and I thought that he could be exactly what it was that the Panthers needed for that second target. I don't think that he'll be the guy, and I'm really happy they got Deontay Johnson. I was kind of surprised that they brought in Legette, but
yeah.
But
they told him he was staying home. That's exactly what they did. Shout out to them, keeping their word early.
So I'm gonna go kind of off the show sheet here because Laquan, you mentioned him, and you mentioned Malachi Corley.
Yeah.
And my first reaction to Xavier Legette being drafted was like just a smart ass. But Mom, we have Malachi Corley at home. Why would we need Xavier Legette? So what do you think about Corley? Did you like his landing spot? Are you worried about the Rodgers connection? Or are you into it?
I'm into it, man, because I fell in love with his tape, man. I was one of those people, a couple months ago that, still trying to figure out who these rookies are, where they're from, what they're doing, and what their position is, and their role and scheme. And like, he's one of those guys that just popped off the paper. And immediately I said, Jets, put them to the Jets. They need another playmaker that can get in open space, that can have the Yak King, be able to work. And I think we need to really look at Aaron Rodgers returning back so fast from this injury. Like, I don't know if he's going to be as mobile. So those little quick dump ball bubble screens to Malachi Corley, not saying it's going to work, not saying it's 100% definite this is what's going to happen, but this is on the table for opportunity for him to actually be a tool utilizing this Jets offense outside of Garrett Wilson, where he can still work, where he can still get things going. We know Mike Williams has an injury bug on his jacket. He carries it with him wherever he goes. I don't care that he's in Jersey now with the Jets, but I'm just saying that just in the back of my head, once he plucks off, where are those targets going to go? It's going to go to Breece Hall. It's going to go to Garrett Wilson, and Malachi Corley has to be involved running out of that slot. We've seen Aaron Rodgers have very well relationships with the slot wide receivers, aka Randall Cobb. And I know people are going to be like, he hates rookies. He just doesn't trust rookies. And I think Malachi Corley coming in already texting him and they getting friendly with each other right after he's picked. It's like, okay, he's going to actually take a different route and try to develop with this rookie, because he knows he's not going to be as mobile. We know he's not going to be as, Aaron Rodgers is early on in the season. So there's going to be some plays where we can see Malachi Corley be featured a lot.
Absolutely. And that you just mentioned that and it made me laugh. Like 22-year-old Malachi Corley coming in from Western Kentucky, texting this crazy ass old man and Aaron Rodgers, like, all right, I got to get on this dude's good side. Like, What is that dynamic? That is interesting.
Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, I like Crazy Rodgers for the comedy and entertainment, to be honest, man. I mean, it's definitely clickable. I just click it and I watch. I know it's chaos and madness what he spews out, but I'm here for it, man.
I love it. So jumping to running backs, Rich, I want to go to you for this one first, because our opinions on running backs did not align a month ago, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the disagreement. Were you surprised Trey Benson was the second running back drafted, and do you like the fit in Arizona?
You're on mute, my guy.
You're on mute.
When did I get put on? Oh, no, I got put on mute. My bad. Anyways, no, I wasn't that surprised by it. I wasn't surprised that he was the second running back taken off the board. I really came around to Benson. He was my RB3, I think, when we were in that show the last time, and when as time progressed, and especially when Braylon Allen did not go anywhere that was worth going, I kind of fell off that train. But no, yeah. So Trey Benson used my second RB at that point, and I was really happy with him landing in Arizona. I think that it's a great spot for him. I think that he'll get a chance to sit behind Connors, or possibly even push him for that starting job. And I think there's a really good chance that actually he does end up walking away before the end of the season as being the guy. I still really like Connor, and I'm he's like that underdog that you're just always rooting for. You kind of forget about him sometimes, and then he shows back up and you're like, oh yeah, Connor, that guy. Yeah,
that guy's cool, man.
That guy's cool. Yeah, I like him. But at the same time, I'm ready for the next chapter. I'm ready to see what's going to come next, and I'm really excited to see what Trey Benson brings to Arizona. I am.
Heck yeah. So, Laquan, can James Conner and Trey Benson coexist in that offense?
Yeah, but I think Connor, we kind of know the type of player he is. He's going to be very serviceable until he's not. I mean, he has yet to complete a full NFL season. We all know that story, and he's on a contract year. So I really think he's going to be playing out of his mind. I mean, Connor is still, a fantasy option in my book to where I'm still drafting one with great value. I mean, we saw the season he put up last year, and even with him missing games, I think Trey Benson, like Rich said, he's going to walk away with that starting job. Like, they need fresh legs. They need a younger guy. He has a play style of Brees Hall where you can pepper him with targets in here and there, and he can literally run through a wall. Like, the dude is a elite talent in an open space, and you're telling me you can throw targets on him on top of that? Man, that is such a great weapon for Kyler Murray in that offense.
Yeah, I love it. I think they can coexist. I mean, the Cardinals were desperate for an RB2 last year. They were trying Amari
They were in
DiMercado.
the deep depths of hell trying to grab somebody to be that backup, and they finally got one. So congratulations.
They tried to shoehorn Michael Carter in there. Like, oh man,
Nasty,
I,
real
I
nasty
used
work
to
there.
love Michael Carter, but I can't do it anymore.
See, congratulations. We got to get you a coin now and get off that.
Love it.
So another team with two running backs, and he drafted one of my They drafted one of my highly ranked guys in Marshawn Lloyd. He lands in Green Bay, who just went and signed Josh Jacobs. So is Marshawn Lloyd going to be an instant impact fantasy guy, Laquan?
No, so we're gonna have to wait because he is behind one of the few workhorses left in the NFL right now. I mean, him and Derrick Henry are the only guys that average 20 touches per game since 2019. So it's one of those things where it's like we got to be patient. We got to be patient. They actually have an out of his contract in year 2, I believe. So there could be a possibility where Jacobs doesn't pan out to be the guy that they thought he was, and we could see Lloyd fairly early or sprinkled here and there, but I really feel as though he's behind a workhorse, man. He could do it all. He can run it, he can catch, pass block, you name it. Josh Jacobs can do it. So we just have to be patient with Marshawn Lloyd because we know the talent he possesses. I mean, he was a little capped off of his abilities last season with Caleb Williams going off script a lot, taking a lot of those runs and taking a lot of those scoring opportunities. I feel like Marshawn Lloyd is a firecracker, one of those big cherry bombs that you're going to light and run away because he's going to explode to the scene once he gets on the field.
You don't see Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams situation happening. Like, I know Jacobs can do the workhorse thing, but does he have to?
Kind of, but you spent all this money and you were quick in free agency to go get him. So you kind of have your plan already of where you want to run him to the ground. You want to get your money's worth, and you're desperately needing for a guy like Josh Jacobs. Not saying Aaron Jones was bad, but Aaron Jones was dealing with injuries, this year as well, where those were starting to catch up to him. But Josh Jacobs, he's a guy that you really can depend on to be that actual workhorse. I didn't see Aaron Jones as a workhorse. Why we saw AJ Dillon, why we saw Jamal Williams. He always needed some type of breather. He needed some type of another guy to come in during that red zone duty. Even though Aaron Jones was amazing on the goal line, it's just one of those things that was kind of set in stone that they had a backup to do X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely. So, we talked about Trey Benson and Marshawn Lloyd. I think they're two of what seems to me to be a consensus top 5 running backs in this rookie class between Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, Blake Corum, Marshawn Lloyd, and Jalen Wright. Rich, are there any backs outside of those 5 that you would put in there and you'd really consider them high value fantasy asset for you in your drafts?
Yeah, so there's one, and hats off to Pat Fitzmaurice for that show that we were on, because honestly, if it wasn't for him, I probably would not have heard of Kamani Vidal until that
There
point.
we go. That's my guy too.
I was super excited about him landing with the Chargers. I still feel like Gus Edwards is the guy to have there at first. But I think that he has a really good chance of a lot like Benson. He has a really good chance of taking over that backfield within the first year or so. I loved watching the college tape the more I watched of it, and I really think that just what he has. I mean, there's Gus Edwards, and then there's Dobbins, and love Dobbins to death, but I don't see anything happening there with his injury history and everything.
He's Cam Akers of that backfield, by the way, if you get that reference.
Right. Yeah. As a Vikings fan, yes, I do.
yeah. So as a Rams fan, I can tell you now, he's Cam Akers of that backfield. Where he's coming in hot, thinks he's the dude, and no,
not so much. Yeah, no, I'm really excited about Kamani Vidal, and I think that I've been walking away from every rookie draft that I have with him in the third round every single time.
Yeah, even the early fourth round, I snagged him. I can't believe he's still here, but we're gonna take him. I need the help. I need the running back help.
Absolutely. Is there anyone like that for you, Laquan?
That was definitely on my radar as one of those guys. I was really excited. Man, Ray Davis could be a guy that I could slot in at number 5. I think a lot of people are sleeping on his role and potential of that offense. I think, James Cook, great in between the tackles runner, but I think Ray Davis gives you a little bit of DeAndre Swift option where he can catch it. He can go in between the tackles, outside the tackles. This dude is like one of those balanced quality running backs that was coming out of the draft that was just sneaking by a lot of people. So I've been grabbing a lot of Ray Davis in those, in those rookie drafts as well. And he might even have some type of fantasy relevance in redraft leagues as well. I mean, if we start seeing James Cook touches get, slightly pulled back because Ray Davis is getting more opportunity, that's something to watch later in the season. Maybe they want to take someone to load off of James Cook and keep this 1-2 punch between the two, because a lot of teams right now are moving to the 2 running back system now where they need a 1-2 punch. Because if you have one guy that's banged up and he's out of the way and you don't have that second running back to step up and fill those roles, you're going to be like the Cardinals going to the deep depths of hell looking for your backup running back. Or you could be like the Rams where we take a complete step back when Kyron Williams is out and we call back Darrell Henderson like, yo, I know you're on the couch. You want to play some ball? But like they weren't able to step up and actually keep this offense flowing how it should be. But I think, a lot of people need to have Ray Davis on that watch list. Have him as your stash, because I really think he's going to be one of those guys out of nowhere where he becomes like really fantasy relevant in that Bills offense.
Absolutely. And my guy is, I feel like people are just out on him after his combine testing, but I'm still in on Bucky Irving.
It's a real interesting spot where he landed with Tampa, though. I mean, there is PPR upside there if anything would have happened to Rachaad White, but I think they kind of cancel each other out when it comes to opportunities. I think Rachaad White did a really good job catching the ball at that backfield. Bucky Irvin's very elusive. Maybe we see some red zone duty out of him. Who knows? But I think he's one of those guys you just have to put in the backseat and be patient for it too.
Yeah, he's my all-time trusted tape guy. What about those measurements? Don't worry about those. Don't look at it.
He's good.
That little guy? Don't worry about that little guy.
Exactly. I wanted to make the Super Troopers reference. I wasn't sure how many people would get it.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie, though. I need to catch back up on that. I was one of them ones.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh my God! I'm gonna watch it tonight.
I need to watch that this weekend for sure. So one quarterback that I wanted to discuss, because I feel like I'm off on an island here, but Drake May, it seems like a very underwhelming landing spot, landing with New England, because there's not a lot there. It's such an unknown. So is he kind of getting disrespected, dropping like past JJ McCarthy, or is his value finally leveling off, Laquan? What do you think about Drake May?
I think it's proper to go to JJ over May just based on there's not many question marks. I mean, you look at JJ's weapons versus Drake May, there's still question marks at the wide receiver position, even though they double tapped on it, getting Baker and Polk. But I feel like, people are going to take the safer route here when you have one of the best wide receivers on your offense you're throwing to. There's no way he can fail. And I think, honestly, JJ, a lot of people were down on him, but I got convinced to start looking at some of the things that he has on his tool belt. And Drake May doesn't have some of those things that JJ has on his utility belt. I mean, Drake May has the off script to him. He has the mobile ability, but so does JJ somewhat as well, you know. So the difference maker there is the accuracy, the ability, the football IQ, et cetera, and the weapons. Now that we know the landing spot, I think that's why people are a little drawn back from Drake May, but it could end up being a beautiful thing over there. It's a new regime, a new offense somewhat. There's a lot of young talent there on that offense where you can look at and like, hopefully they could develop and put something together worth watching. Because I mean, the Patriots were not worth watching last year, if I'm being totally honest. It's very, very like I just wanted to stick a pencil in my eye watching them, man. And it's like, geez. I mean, I hate to be so graphic, but that's literally how bad they were. But I feel like you know, Drake May, he's going where he should be going.
All right, Rich, is he your QB 2, 3, 4, 5? I don't know.
He's my QB3. I do have him above JJ. I think a part of that might be because of the fact that I'm trying to keep my bias out of it. Trying very, very hard to keep my bias out of it. But I love Drake coming out, and so as a prospect, I like Drake more than I like JJ. To be honest, like I just like Drake more. I liked his ability to sling the ball, his ability to work out of the pocket. I just think that he is the better prospect between the two, and so I think in the end of things, that Drake May is going to be the guy that you want. But at the same time, yeah, like everything Laquan said, I can't dispute. Like JJ's in a great landing spot, and it's going to be something to watch there. So
yes, he is, and we will see. And Mr. Scamper is coming in with the "You boys like Mexico." I hope we
Super Trooper. I get that.
I hope we inspired multiple people to watch that movie again.
Please, it's a good watch.
He's already pulled over, officer. He can't pull over any farther.
He's already pulled over.
I'm freaking out, man. You are freaking out, man.
I feel like we could keep this going for a half an hour, and I don't know how many people want to listen to that. So we're going to jump into a lightning round here, and we're going to get a little bit away from some of these rookies. I'm going to give you guys 2 teammates, and I want you to tell me 20 seconds or less which one you want and why. All right? So first, Laquan, I'm going to give you the first crack at this one, and then Rich, I'll rotate to you. So first one is Rome Odunze or DJ Moore on the Chicago Bears?
Rome Odunze. I think he'll be more utilized. I think DJ Moore will get some of his targets cut. I mean, some of his abilities cut. He's a great stretch to field guy. But you have Keenan Allen there also, man, and he's going to work that slot. So I'm going to go with Odunze.
All right. Rich, next. Amari Cooper or Jerry Jeudy?
Okay, Amari Cooper. It hurts a little bit. I love Jerry Jeudy. I can't quit him. I keep drafting him. I don't know why. But when it comes down to it, I believe in Amari a little bit more, and I think down the stretch he looked really good before. I think that him and Deshaun figure it out, and the two of them will be able to make things work down there. So.
And you're not worried about Amari turning 30 next month?
No. I've actually traded for him in a couple of leagues, hoping that he can help put me over the top.
All right. I like it.
Money where my mouth is.
Next up, Houston Texans, Nico Collins or Tank Dell?
I'll go Nico Collins, even though that situation is going to be real nasty work. I think Nico will give me more bang for my buck, and then Tank Dell will kind of be like flash in the pan type ordeal now with Stephon Diggs there. Going to be hogging all the targets. Demanding, I should say, the targets.
Deserving them. Demanding, yes.
Demanding, yes.
So, Rich, how about the Kansas City Chiefs? Are you taking Rashee Rice or Xavier Worthy?
Xavier Worthy. I've been drafting him everywhere. I'm really excited about it. I think that he has a better skill set. I think he can win all over the field. And I think that he's the piece that Andy Reid has been missing for quite a while. I love I was just gonna say the thing that I loved was when like everybody keeps saying, "Oh, he's not the next." Oh, dang it, Miami
Tyreek.
Dolphin. Yeah,
Tyreek
he's not
Hill?
the next Tyreek Hill. He's not the next Tyreek Hill. No, he's the next Deshaun Jackson. And if that's the case, I'm all in.
Got to be a little careful with comparing these guys to people like Deshaun Jackson and Tyreek Hill. It's
Right.
it's a little weird.
Andy Reid said it. When Andy Reid said it, I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah. Well, the last time they compared a player to a very good former Eagle was Clyde Edwards-Helaire being the next Brian Westbrook. So we know how that one worked out.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I'm sorry, Rich. I had to.
No, it's good. It's good. No, you gotta keep me honest.
That was such a weird year. Him and Miles Sanders were getting so overdrafted. It's disgusting. Really disgusting.
Last one, Laquan, and this is going cross position. Amon-Ra St. Brown or Sam Laporta?
USOB. That's a tough one, man. Tight end premium, obviously Laporta, but can I have both, man? I mean, this offense is going to be humming for a while, man. And I like Jared Goff. He found his Cooper Kupp and Amon-Ra. He found his Tyler Higbee, but very upgraded Tyler Higbee and the Sam Laporta. So, it's definitely going to be one of those things that are going to be set in stone for a while, where these guys are just going to keep producing. So it's a toss-up, man. And you can't go wrong here.
You can't. I'm going Amon-Ra St. Brown personally.
Yeah.
I literally wrote, it's the sun god. That's all I wrote.
God.
My reasons of why it'd be Amon-Ra is it's the sun god.
There you go.
That is all you need to know. Well, that's all we got for the night. Laquan, thank you so much for joining us. You certainly brought the fire content. That was a lot of fun. Can you tell people a little bit about what you're working on, and are we going to see you on our TV screens anytime soon?
Man, hopefully, man. Praying that it's in the works, man. But right now, you can catch most of my content over there at Rotoballer Fantasy. Check out their YouTube channel. I got a couple videos coming out this week and hitting them heavy next week. And then tomorrow, me, Marcus, Grant, and Michael Florio, we're going to be doing the cheat sheet, 10 p.m. Pacific, and I think that's noon Eastern. You guys can check us out on YouTube. We're going to be live taking the questions in, talking a little ball and having a little fun. I mean, last week we were talking about which Spider-Man will win in the fight. I picked Toby, personally. I think Toby is one of those guys you have to watch. He's in the corner just like, you just need to watch out for him. So I think he will clear both those guys, Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield.
I have a whole nother YouTube that I want to have with you right now. Just a whole nother episode.
Look, jump in the cheat sheet. We can bring this back up and we can just hash it out, man. I love it.
Yeah. I might need to. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's Toby is a sleeper candidate for that.
Yeah,
so I'll give you that.
Watch out for Toby. He's a firecracker.
And you can follow Laquan on Twitter at Real Deal Fantasy. You can follow me on Twitter at FF Tyler Heil, and you can follow Rich on Twitter at Rich Sickles GBM, stands for Ginger Beard Man. So everyone, please stick around on the Fantasy and Frames YouTube. We are just a start to the evening. We've got Fourth and Frames coming up next, and we've got our Shoot the Gap, our IDP podcast later in the evening. You can visit fantasyandframes.com for all of our updated rookie rankings. And if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe and click the bell so you can know when we are going live. We have all kinds of content coming out all the time. So just be here with us. And if you are listening on your podcast platform of choice, please click that subscribe button and we will keep it coming. Every Wednesday, you will get 3 new episodes from us. So, Laquan, thank you again. Rich, it was good seeing you. And everyone, have a wonderful night.